Yo, what's up, people? Welcome back to the Gifted Biscuit podcast, hosted by me, Jahlil Tobee, aka Captain CoStar. What's going on? How are y'all? Are y'all ready for today's show? Welcome to episode 10 of what is soon to become, if it is not already, your favorite place for inspiration, motivation, and all that stuff in between. Now, before we start, as always, let me thank everyone for their support. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Let me also say that you guys can take this show on the go. That's right. You can find us, Gifted Biscuit Podcast, on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Google, Apple Music, and all your favorite major podcast outlets. Just search Gifted Biscuit, hit follow, and enjoy. Make sure to rate us 5 stars if you do like the show. It helps move us up the algorithm, which does get us new listeners. Also, if you're watching the video version on youtube.com Coffee Shop Network, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like, share, follow, all that good stuff. Today is December 8th that I'm recording it, and you can tell it's cold because I'm wearing my sweater. As we get into episode 10, I just want to spread the message of positivity, positive vibes. Yo, Corona is kicking a lot of people's butts. So let's just take a second and just positive energy, positive vibes, all that good stuff. Let's just take a deep breath and congratulate ourselves for making it another week. Okay. So, opening statements. This week, my opening statement, something just real quickly. I've decided that my opening statements are going to be more of... I got something in my eye, y'all. Distracting me. I decided that my opening statements, treat my opening statements kind of just as little things to just tidbit. They're not full-on, like, things I want to talk about, but they're just things I want to just pop into your mind. Just let you think about them, you know, stuff that I think is important. So, today's opening statement, work-life balance is extremely important. So, for those of y'all that don't know, my work-life balance is a little bit off, and a lot of people's work-life balance is extremely off due to Corona. So, since I no longer work a classical job, I do content creation. I do Twitch now, which you can find me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Shameless plug on Twitch at 9. Link is in the description. But I do Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. So because I don't have an office to go to or a job to go to, and my job is home, I'm just working all the time. I'm either working all the time or taking a couple days off because I burnt myself out. And that's just not conducive to building the velocity that you need and the momentum you need to be creating, content. So I am finding ways, just to have a better work-life balance. Because that is a tightrope. You definitely want to make sure you're keeping consistent, with your community. But at the same time, you got to make sure you don't burn yourself out, man. You got to take care of yourself. So I found, and this is something I'm testing out, and I hope future me does stick with this. I recently got a whiteboard. So I write about anywhere from 5 to 7 goals, right? And I make a deal with myself. I say, hey, listen, I will feel accomplished if I complete 45% of those goals, right? Not even a clean 50, 45%. So 3 goals out of those 7. And I find that I normally complete about 5 to 7 of them, 5 to 6. So I feel like by just writing them down and getting them out of my head, I can execute the next step. And this allows me to kind of gauge where I'm at, right? Productivity wise, right? If I'm knocking all of them out of the park, then I'm like, okay, I feel great. And if I'm not, then I'm like, okay, where can I improve? But the thing, and how this ties back to work-life balance, is because I'm able to now concretely see what I need to do for that day, I can gauge that against my emotional center and against, how I feel in general. And I can say, you know what? I need to take a break. Let me not make the deal with myself for 3. Let me make myself deal for 1, right? Let me do one thing, see how I feel, right? It allows me to concretely make sure that I'm making progress, but at the same time, it allows me to gauge it so that way I can tell when I'm, burning the candle on both ends, and I can make, deals with myself just to have a better life balance, a better emotional balance, a better relationship balance. A lot of content creators, they get super integrated content and they neglect a lot of parts of their lives. So, like I said, this week I'm really focusing on that. We're trying new things, we're growing, we're learning. Let's get on to that main topic, because I'm sure if you read the title, you are just as baffled as the other people watching this on the video version. Shameless plug again. Coffee Shop Network. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. My pretty mug is all over that thing. So, main topic number 1. Are you going to be the 1%? Now, am I talking about the 1% as far as people like Jeff Bezos when I'm talking money? No. Am I talking the 1% as far as in a job, as far as, you being a CEO or a CFO or an executive or a partner? No. Y'all know that this podcast is about content and content creators. So when I talk about the 1%, I am talking about the 1% of people on social media, on content creation websites like Twitch and YouTube who make a living off of this, who are successful, who are, for all intents and purposes, famous. So, are you going to be the 1%? Why is it 1%? Well, let's think about it this way, right? Let's consider your content creation journey as a small business, right? Until you get to Matt Pat's level, until you get to maybe MKBHD's level, you are a small business, right? And they might even still be considered small businesses. But let's just say, you're a group of 1, maybe you have an editor, group of 2, possibly. Small business, real grassroots, right? Most small businesses fail. The truth is that most small businesses, about, 90% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. And then out of that, 10% of those businesses actually succeed long term. So if you consider your content creation journey a small business, 1% of us is actually gonna make it, right? Now, keep in mind that 1% is out of billions and billions of content creators. So you could be one of a couple million. But as far as it's concerned, purely numbers-wise, purely statistically wise, 1% of us is gonna make it. Now, how does that make me feel? Personally, I think competition is great. I think we need competition so that the cream can rise to the top. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I remember about it. Like, as I thought of that, I just saw the Macho Man Randy Savage, but he's wearing a business suit, and it's just on YouTube trying to peddle like passive income dropshipping. The Macho Man Randy Savage loves dropshipping. All you gotta do is have a Shopify store. The Macho Man Randy Savage sees that you have to rise to the cream of the crop and dropship. Amazon affiliates. I'm sorry, I get sidetracked, y'all know that. But seriously though, how should you feel as a content creator knowing when you start this journey that 1% of us is the only percent that's gonna make it? Truthfully, like I said, let me reiterate. Competition is good. Competition forces anyone and everyone in whatever field you're in to continuously strive to be better and do better and promote better and be more open to change, right? Case in point. I had a whole case in point and that shit just left me. Beautiful podcast. Rate it 5 stars, please. Amazing. Just like message. I'm out here. Okay. Real talk. Case in point. Let's look at NBA 2K, right? That specific game is the only basketball game in popular media. Because it is, they rarely switch up the formula, right? Now imagine if all of a sudden there was 5 basketball games. Now the people who make NBA 2K have to continuously find ways to draw an audience, right? Matter of fact, let's look at, from a content creator standpoint, right? Let's look at PewDiePie, right? He is one of the biggest YouTubers, not because his content is necessarily good or bad, but because at the time, he was one of the first. So he didn't have that much competition. His content, I'm sure, if you look at his analytics, his content started to get better in congregation. I'm messing up, y'all. In correlation with the amount of YouTubers that joined the platform, right? You can clearly see if you look at YouTube in general that content has risen from its original grassroots in like 2005, 2006, where you could just use your phone, to where 2020. Yeah, that's right. 2020. Yeah, that's right. 2020, where you literally have to have a 1080p camera standard, or people are not watching your content. You have to audio mix, you have to edit, you have to do a lot of promotion, you have to have a social media presence, and a lot of things that didn't need to happen back when YouTube first started. Now, I have some points on the 1%. Truly, I think that these are important, honestly. And I think that as we brush over them, I'm going to explain them a little bit more and we're going to get into them. So, my first point. Employees trade perceived safety for their perceived success, right? So, the 1%, right? When your journey to the 1% happens, right? You are essentially saying, I'm betting on myself. I am not betting on my employer. And therefore, I'm removing the net of safety, right? I am increasing my own risk so that my potential profit and gain will be just that much more higher. The opposite happens when you're not trying to do that, right? When people say, I'm going to give up on my dreams, or I'm not going to chase them, or, things economically happen, and they decide to sign their names on a job, they're not just saying, I'm coming here. What they are saying is this job has a perceived safety that I am wishing to obtain. So I will give you my time in exchange for guaranteed wages instead of betting upon myself. Now, I think that there's nothing wrong with that. Let me get that out of the way. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And in fact, many content creators, I suggest, do not go full time. Because like I said, most of us are going to fail. But that should still not, stop you from attempting it. Many people, many content creators, many of which who are big now, will tell you, no, I worked my job and I worked my side hustle until my side hustle became my job, right? My pops always told me, never take a step forward until your last step is secured, all right? Because the last thing you want to do is quit your job, try to become a YouTuber, and in 3 months, when you're about to get evicted, realize you didn't make any money because you have 5 subs, 4 of which are your alt accounts and your grandma. So, another point that I have, most businesses fail, right? I did talk about that. How can you avoid that though? So, my main point when it comes to what is the best way, right? What is one of the most foolproof ways you can avoid failing, right? First off, we have to establish what failure is. Failure is when you decide to stop. Okay, the first thing you have to frame your mind at is a loss is a loss, but a loss is also the gain of knowledge of where not to step. So you only fail when you decide, you know what, I took enough L's, I gotta stop. But how can you avoid that? I think personally, you always have to assume it's you. Truthfully. Always assume it is you. I've seen too many content creators who put out 3 videos and they're like, why has no one subbed to me? Why do I not have thousands of dollars? I thought that's how this worked. It can't be me. My content is hilarious. My reaction channel gone wrong, prank in the hood channel thing is amazing. Why has no one subscribed to it? Always assume it's you. Whether it is your sound, your light, your camera, your editing, your posting, your promotion, your social media presence, always assume there is something that you can do day by day and just tweak and tinker until you get it right. And that might take you 5 to 10 years. But by the end of that, you would have found the formula to success. Now, I mentioned 5 to 10 years. The truth is, when you start this journey to the 1%, nobody's an overnight success. I hate to break it to you, no one is an overnight success. Most of them will tell you it took them an average of about 7 to 10 years to get there. And those 7 to 10 years, there's a lot of L's. There's a lot of them. Expect to lose. Expect to fail, and fail fast. But again, like I said, you don't truly fail until you give up. So expect to take a lot of lessons, right? Case in point. In order to get to this point, I had to take several lessons on how to make a video. My original videos, if y'all scroll back on my Instagram, were garbage. My editing was garbage. My light, my sound, my mixing was garbage. My editing, trash. But every couple of days, you just tinker at it. You watch your own content, watch other people's content, see what they're doing. Part of growing as a content creator is being open to ideas that you didn't think about simply because you just don't have the time to think about it. Watch other content creators. Watch some that are in your niche. Watch some that are not in your niche. A lot of people have editing tricks, and a lot of people have a lot of knowledge out there that can help you grow if you're willing to learn. So on that subject, I just want to talk about why, right? Why do you want that fame? Why do you want that success? Because that's a big part. That is a huge part of your journey. Because there's going to be times when you want to quit. There's going to be times when you don't want to make that video. There's going to be times when all you want to do is watch Netflix and eat Cheetos. What is going to make you say, nah, let me get up and do this anyway? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it status? Is it recognition? Whatever it is, and I don't begrudge you, everyone has their own personal thing. That reason needs to be strong enough to push against your worst moments. If it is not, I recommend you take a quick hiatus, take a week, take a month, whatever you need, and find that real reason. Because when you find that real reason, the content you're going to create is going to come out more genuine. And that is one of the secrets to making content that will inevitably get you where you want to go, is being aggressively genuine. And if you're just turning on a camera and saying, here I am, I'm a pretty face, with no substance, I'm sorry. Like I said, there are millions of people. Why is a viewer going to choose you? Why are they going to buy your book, buy your painting, buy your song, whatever? Why are they going to do that? You have to make them do that. Every time someone looks at your content, it is a auditory, visual, whatever representation of you saying, please invest in me. And you have to make your content make people want to invest in you. Because that's all they're doing. When people decide they want to be employees, all they're doing is saying, I'm investing my time for the return of money. And the guy at the top of that food chain is reaping the benefits of that investment. When you decide you want to go to the top 1% and you want to create your own content, what you are saying is, I'm investing my time into myself on the chance that I will then get much more than I would if I gave my time to someone else. So, when is the best time, to decide that, right? Like I said, when is the best time to decide you want to go full-time content creation? When is the time when you say you want to make that break for that 1%? Personally, like I said, a lot of content creators make this mistake of thinking that you have to go full-time. I am a full-time content creator right now, but that is not because I want to be. It is because, the is out there right now. So, under normal circumstances, please, if you have a job right now, or if you're gonna look for a job in the future, work your job while you can, and work your side hustle until your side hustle can become your job. And like I said, the average time of success is about 7 to 10 years. It can be faster, it can be slower. So just understand that this is a grind. Remember, it is a marathon, not a sprint. So dedicating 40 hours to content creation as opposed to 4 hours in a single day is theoretically not going to make that much more of a difference. It's just not. So with that, we are going to move on to main topic 2, which is our Q&A. As always, remember, you guys can ask me questions on Twitter and Instagram. I normally post a square there for the day before I'm recording. I didn't do it last week because I had a couple good questions that I got sent already, so I wanted to get to them beforehand. But normally you can find it there up until the day that I'm recording the podcast. But if you want to send them whenever you get them and you want to do it anonymously, please send it to my email at www.costar123@gmail.com with the subject line Q&A. Remember, anonymous for safety. It can be on finances, inspiration, motivation, all that good stuff in between, and I try to answer it in a timely manner in the podcast. So, this person via my email asked me, what motivates you to continue to make content? That is a very interesting question. Number one, I'm poor. No, but for real. So a lot of people don't know, and you wouldn't really know because I don't really talk about it. But there was a point in my life where I was really sad. Now, I'm not going to call it depression, but it probably was, and I probably need therapy for it. But there was a moment where I was working 60, 70 hours for about 4 months. And I don't really want to get into why I was, but basically I was just living at work, right? There was times when I would like blink awake because I was half asleep, and I'd be like, yo, what day is it? And the guy next to me would be like, yo, it's Thursday. I'm like, yo, what? Did I go to sleep? Did I go home? And it would just be one never-ending shift. And I remember thinking to myself, there's gotta be something else. There's got to be something else other than this. So I started listening to people like Tony Robbins, Will Smith, I was about to say Phil Collins. This old English dude, I don't remember his name, but if I remember his name, I'll put it in the annotation card. And they just talked this talk of motivation, and that helped me get through that very difficult time. And I thought to myself, I was like, if I could help somebody else, if I could give somebody else that motivation, that inspiration, and I could make them feel better when they're going through a tough time, then that would be all I need. If one person watching this video, if 5 people watching this video get something positive out of this message, then it is worth it, even if I don't make a dime. Speaking of which, if you want more inspiration, motivation, giftedbiscuit.com. We post articles, trying to do it weekly. Shameless plug, breaking that really emotional moment. But seriously though, I want to create content that makes people's lives better, that enriches it in some way, shape, or form. And that's kind of what motivates me. The idea that someone someday is going to look at this and this is going to give them the strength to go on, or just give them a laugh, or give them some useful tips or some tools or some resources that will help them keep going on to create content, right? And specifically, I do this as motivational content for content creators because at first I was just doing, very general motivational content. But then I realized there's not a lot of content creators who do motivational content specifically for those who are making content for others. A lot of people, right, depend on these content creators for all these insights and all these great stories, but who can these content creators go to for that, And that's what I hope to be. So that motivates me. Like I said in the previous section, hey, if you don't have a strong enough reason to create content and you're not exactly sure about it, 1, invest as little money as possible to start until you do know. And 2, take as much time as you need to make that reason possible, the strongest it can possibly be. Remember, content creation is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So you are gonna need something that's gonna hold you down during those rough patches, during those creative blocks, during those times when you doubt yourself. So with that said, that's all I got on my show notes. So we are gonna do some closing statements. Number 1, I'm really liking this. I think this podcast has really shaped me mentally, and it has made me stronger when it comes to content creation. And like I said, I really hope someone does get value out of this. If one person, gets value out of this podcast, if they get inspiration or motivation to keep going, or they get a new idea, or they have a resource that they can go to when they don't feel as strong, that is enough for me. So, main takeaways from this episode: hey, if you want to do content creation and you want to do it so that you can make money and not have to work and not have to show up on Tuesday for that shift from your stupid manager who's decided they want to call you into work, it's going to be a rough journey. Remember, 90% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. 10% of those that actually succeed are the ones that make it long term. So this shit is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm gonna say it for those in the back who are casually listening, right? It will take an average of about 7 to 10 years to achieve that success unless you blow up. But again, virality is not something you want to strive to achieve. The internet is a fickle beast and you never know when it will strike. So again, marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, make your content aggressively genuine, and always assume that it is you. Always assume there is something you can do better, and just keep tinkering away and just keep making your content the best you can as you go on. Other than that, when it comes to motivating yourself to make your own content, please find that strong reason inside you that'll keep you going through those hard times. And at the same time, something else that always motivates me on the side, which I didn't include, look at how your content inspires others. Oftentimes we don't realize how much our content reaches people, and that is one of the best medicines for the soul. So with that said, that is gonna do it for episode 10. Remember, if you want your questions answered on life, finance, inspiration, motivation, black culture, any of that stuff in between, you can email me at CaptainCoStar123@gmail.com with the subject line Q&A. Other than that, thank you guys so much for listening or watching. If you're watching the video version at Coffee Shop Network on youtube.com, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please rate the podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you can. It helps move the show up the algorithm, which brings in new listeners, which I need because I am poor. I keep telling y'all. Speaking of which, if you want to financially support the show, consider visiting our website, giftedbiscuit.com. We post articles frequently about inspiration, motivation, all this stuff in between. Also consider donating via CashApp. It is $CaptainCoStar over here if you're on the video version. In the description below if you're not. Either way, thank you again for listening. Make sure to follow us wherever podcasts are found. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you got something out of this quick show. I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are empowered to feel strong. I hope that you are feeling positive vibes. And if you're not, I hope whatever's bothering you goes away and you can focus on your purpose. I will see you guys next week as we do post every week. I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.